babes, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. For those that don't know me, my name is Brandy. I am the host of the Be Real Babe show, a spin-off of the Be Real Babe podcast. Thank you so much for clicking on this episode today. If you're watching today when it is live, that means it is Monday. So that means we are keeping up with Canada, and today I have 3 different stories for you. So one is local to Kelowna here that is actually quite concerning about the healthcare system. Another one that is on the other side of the country that is downright fucking disturbing, and women on that side should be aware of this individual that is out and about these days. And then I'm going to finish with one that is kind of not funny. I kind of want to engage your guys' opinions. I'm just going to keep my opinions out of this one, but I'm just curious about what you guys think about a woman who was quote unquote accidentally released and was making fun of the cops on TikTok, and what happened to her. So if you're interested in listening to those 3 stories, stick around and we'll jump right in. Okay, babes, as mentioned, 3 different stories. Now I'm going to finish with the one in Alberta, the girl that was released and making her jokes on TikTok and making herself try to go viral while she's evading police. We'll leave that one to the end because that one's just a little bit more lighter. There could be seriousness to this, but a lot lighter than the first 2 stories I want to talk about. The first story I want to talk about today is local to Kelowna, but I don't think that this is necessarily just in Kelowna. I think this is happening all throughout Canada for various reasons. I won't get political about it today, but it's just a story that I wanted to bring up because I think it is super important. And then we'll talk about an absolutely insane story coming out of the other side of the country. And like I said, ending with the one that's quote unquote a little bit lighter. And just remember, guys, to like and subscribe and turn on notifications if you can, if you haven't already, and comment for engagement. That helps me so much. I appreciate you guys so much for listening and tuning in. It's been an awesome first couple of months here on YouTube. I've got about 1 more month left, and then I'm going to take a month break for the summer just because the podcast will be taking a break as well. And then I'll be back in August. So expect weekly uploads for all of June. I'll take a break in July, and then I'll be back in August when I'm preparing for season 10 for the podcast. And just a little drop as well, if you wanted to hear the podcast where I interview guests more on their experiences and talk about real life topics, you can find me on Spotify, Rumble, and Apple actually at the Be Real Babe podcast every Friday. Okay, little shameless plug there. And hopefully next week I'll have another shameless plug to share with you guys. But TBD, pause, it's a little surprise I'll bring, but let's get into the first story. So this is coming out of Castanet. Okanagan MLA's grill health minister over temporary closure at KGH Pediatric Unit. So this was from May 28th, 2025. Kelowna General Hospital pediatrician shortage was front and center in the BC legislature Wednesday afternoon as local opposition MLAs grilled the health minister over the hospital's temporary closure of a pediatric unit. Last week, Ontario Health told Castanet that KGH's 10-bed inpatient general pediatrics unit would be closed beginning May 26th for at least 6 weeks due to its shortage of pediatricians at the hospital. While the hospital would need 12 pediatricians to be fully staffed, it only has 6 at this time. While the inpatient pediatric unit is closed for the time being, critical care service for children, including the emergencies department and neonatal intensive care unit, will remain open. During question period in the legislature Wednesday afternoon, Kelowna Centre MLA Christina Lowen referred to the situation at KGH as a collapse and told Health Minister Josie Osborne it's not just frustrating, it's life and death. Doctors in Kelowna found out through the media that pediatric services were being shut down at the Kelowna General Hospital for at least 6 weeks, Lowen said. There was no official communication from the ministry or Ontario Health. This means no pediatric care in one of BC's busiest hospitals. Osborne was quick to correct Lowen's assertion that there is no pediatric care at the hospital, though. The member is not correct in her characterization, Osborne said. I want everyone to know that critical care services for children and for babies remain open at Kelowna General, and people should continue to take their children there in case of emergency. Osborne noted that 2 pediatricians have signed contracts with Ontario Health, with one expected to begin working at KGH in July. In response, Lowen quipped, "Just hope our kids stay healthy until July," which elicited a warning from Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, Raj Chouhan. Osborne also added the 3 associate physicians in a pediatrician program are coming to KGH this summer, while an American pediatrician is visiting Kelowna this weekend to hopefully make the decision to move here. full-blown crisis. West Kelowna Peachland MLA Macklin McCall referred to a video posted this week by KGH Dr. Hannah Duvillard and said Kelowna is facing full-blown pediatric care crisis. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, Dr. Hannah. Apologies. For years, pediatricians been raising the alarms, but as doctors said, and I quote, their voices have been silenced, McCall said. In response, Osborne conceded that it's an incredibly challenging situation to be a pediatrician at Kelowna General Hospital right now. Interior Health is working hard to undertake the hiring that they need to do. They're seeing successes with a new pediatrician signing contracts, she said. They're looking at compensation, locums, remuneration models, everything that they can to bring in people to fill these positions, even if on a temporary basis to ensure these services are here for people. When Osborne noted that there is a global healthcare worker shortage, opposition MLAs loudly objected, resulting in more warnings from Speaker Chouhan. In a Conservative Party of BC press release, the party said that the problem at KGH isn't due to lack of doctors, but an unsustainable work environment where pediatricians are pressured to simultaneously cover psychiatric care for children, emergency consults, neonatal intensive care, and high-risk deliveries. And that's kind of what I heard that's what I actually heard as well on that TikTok that was posted. Actually, we're going to watch it right now. That was posted of the doctor. I'm so sorry, Dr. Hannah, I butchered your name.
Right. So I hesitate about posting this, but I think deserves to know. So as a parent and as a physician at Kelowna General Hospital, I think our community should be concerned about the current pediatric crisis that we're having. And I don't think that the media and IH is putting out information that is completely accurate. And so we are facing a pediatric crisis. In fact, we don't have any pediatric coverage at our tertiary care hospital for at least 6 weeks, if not more. And they're saying that this is due to doctor shortage, which is sort of true, but there are other factors involved. If you can imagine, one pediatrician is responsible for covering the pediatric ward, which is 10 patients, all pediatric psychiatric patients under the age of 11. Every sick kid that comes into the emergency department that needs consultation or admission, the entire neonatal intensive care unit, and they're responsible for being at every C-section and every delivery that could require support for baby. So that's 5 different places that our pediatricians are required to be at once, and there's only one on at a time. And so for years, they have advocated saying this is an unsafe work environment for patients. We need one doctor on for our neonatal unit and one for deliveries, and the other one for the emergency department and pediatric care. And their voices have been silenced. And so we're having a doctor shortage because they're worried about putting their own moral and professional integrity at risk, as well as patients. So for example, I just got off my shift in the emergency department. We have a sick kid in our trauma bay from an asthma exacerbation. If that pediatrician is helping me getting their airway ready, maybe for a potential intubation, and then they get called to a stat C-section, and then their pager goes off again and there's a seizing baby in the NICU, which child are they going to leave? Which child will not get their care and attention? And that's going to have negative consequences for that child and also for that physician. So I think as a community, we need to let our leaders know that our children deserve better. They deserve to have adequate coverage and physicians that care about them. We have over 20 pediatricians here in Kelowna. It's not that we have a doctor shortage. They just need better working environments so that they can treat your kids the way that they deserve to be treated. So let's raise our voices and let's get this crisis sorted out with real change. And I think we can all do our part.
So hear it from there. And I think this is great. So hopefully more people get eyes on this. I think a lot of people are talking about this here locally in Kelowna. And I'm sure that's not just local to Kelowna. I'm sure that's quite a few places across Canada. We've heard several times over that the healthcare system is crumbling over and over again. And that's kind of what I said before the pandemic. You know, it's just something that's continuously brought up, that these environments are not great. That's all I've ever heard from doctors and nurses. And I'm not saying like that's a bad thing, but it's just like, I just wonder at what point do we get better at managing that? I don't know the answers, but I'm don't have children. So obviously this is something that's not going to personally affect my life, but it's going to affect a lot of people that I know and people even that I don't know, but Canadians in general. So what do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like, is there a way to make things better? It sounds like there's more doctors that there are here. They just need better circumstances and maybe better scheduling, better management. I don't know. I plan cannabis inventory. You guys, I do not plan human beings. So you guys let me know what you think is going on here. But for those that are in the Kelowna area, it sounds like the health minister is saying that things should be fine. So continue on as need to be, and she's working on it. And then we hear boots on the ground that's saying, we need some more support vocalizing the needs. So hopefully this gets out more and more, and people raise their voices. Parents, make sure you raise your voices if you're in the Okanagan area. But yeah, so there's that story. Now let's go to one that is absolutely diabolical. So the next one here, we're going to go to the other side of the country. Kitchener man Udo Han, who killed wife, exploded house, has been speed dating. So there's a picture of him. Picture of his beautiful wife. Rest in peace. And here's a picture of their home. Fucking wild. Ontario Review Board orders Udon Han to report romantic involvements. A man who was declared not criminally responsible for fatally strangling his wife with a rope and triggering an explosion that obliterated their Kitchener house has been speed dating, the Ontario Review Board says. In its recent reasons for disposition, the board said Udon Han continues to represent a significant threat to the safety of the public. Han, 65, has been discharged from forensic hospital and now lives in an apartment, apparently near the St. Thomas Hospital. He remains under a detention order and supervision by the board. He must report to the hospital at least 4 times a month. The board, which has jurisdiction over people found not criminally responsible, said Han has expressed a wish to find a romantic partner. Forensic psychiatrist Dr. AJ Prakash told the board Han is seeking long-term companionship and had engaged in activities such as speed dating, social events, and holiday-themed meetups since his discharge. This prompted the board to order Han to report any romantic involvements to the person in charge of the hospital. The board balances protection of the public with the need to integrate people into the community. It reviews cases annually and issues decisions called dispositions and later issues its reasons. Its latest decision ordered Han to remain under a detention order. In its reasons, the board noted the killing of his wife, Edra Han, was grave intimate partner violence. Han has been diagnosed with unspecified bipolar and related disorder and substance use disorder. He continues to have limited insight into his illness, the importance of medication in treating his illness, the impact of substance use on his mental health, and the potential for future violence, the board said. The board finds that, absent the supervision of the board, there's a strong likelihood of Mr. Han falling away from treatment and returning to substance use, resulting in significant increase in his risk to the public. Since he was discharged from the hospital, Hans has been highly active and involved in the community and has handled a number of stressors, Prakash, the psychiatrist, told the board. Han was declared not criminally responsible to a mental disorder in February 2023. Pause. Hold up. With all due respect, we're saying now that people with mental disorders are not criminally responsible for murder? Is that what I just fucking read? So hold on. Somebody call me out here. Somebody call me out. Han was declared not criminally responsible due to a mental disorder in February 2023. No, that doesn't seem right. Hold up. Didn't I just read that? Let me just double check, because sometimes my stoner brain, I'm like, did I make this up? Did he not strangle his wife? No, he was not. A man who was declared not criminally responsible for fatally strangling his wife with a rope. Y'all. Whew, this is keeping up with Canada. Okay. The review board ordered Han to not visit Kitchener or Waterloo unless on an itinerary approved of by the person in charge. He can have no contact with Edra Han's family members. No shit. Han and his wife, 58, were in the process of separating. He was having paranoid delusions when he strangled her in the bedroom in August 2018. Han then went to the basement and opened a drip line on the natural gas line leading to the furnace, Superior Court Justice Paul Sweeney said in findings Han not criminally responsible. This action allowed the home to begin filling with natural gas. Sometime later, Mr. Han returned to his bedroom where he poured some gasoline over the bed and used a lighter to ignite the gasoline. The house at 56 Sprucedale Crescent in the Forest Heights area exploded. Edgar Han was found dead in the backyard. Neighbors pulled Udon Hain from the wreckage. He was airlifted to Hamilton Hospital in critical condition. Sometimes, guys, I have time to read the whole story. Sometimes I don't. I did not read the whole story. To be honest with you, I kind of just read the headlines and was like, oh, this is crazy. This guy's speed dating. I should probably didn't realize he was 65. But, you know, if there's still people in that range, possibly just just do a Google search when you're dating, I think is probably a good idea. But then it's like at the same time, what if he changes his name? But he's speed dating and he got off in 2023 for killing his wife. So they were separating in 2018. He strangles her in the bedroom. He opens a drip line, burns the house. How was she found dead in the backyard? Good gosh, so her body must have... Whew, this is a lot heavier. I'm so sorry to this family. I'm shocked that this human being is out. He's only having to go to the hospital 4 times a month, so that is out of how many hours in that month is he not supervised? Maybe not taking medication. That's a little insane. You guys tell me what you think. What do you think about this? Great, you can't go to Kitchener and Waterloo. What about the rest of Canada? Don't talk to her family? Yeah, I think that's fair. Not sure what protection that is. Why are we not having hospitals that maybe they're not prisons, but why aren't we having places where these people can go to get rehabbed and then integrated in society, not integrated into society and then hope that they don't continue doing this? That is fucking crazy. Okay, well, cool. Next article, next story is a little bit of a trip, but it's not as dark. It's not as concerning. It's still a concern. It's just more interesting, and I want to get your guys' opinions on this one. Yeah, this one's kind of interesting, so I want to get your opinions, and we got a couple videos to watch on this one. So let's start here. Now, this is all over the place. The court of public opinion is all over the place, but let's see what you guys think. So Alberta woman wrongfully released from jail on fake papers arrested in BC. So Mackenzie Dawn Hardy arrested in Revelstoke with alleged accomplice. Okay, so let's go to the videos. Let's watch the videos first. Okay, so we're gonna watch these videos in order. This is how they were coming up on TikTok, and then we'll dive into the story. But I guys just want you to catch the vibe first.
Hi everybody, my name is Mackenzie, and I got a funny story to tell you guys. So the government's fucked, and I'm an escaped inmate right now. They are not gonna catch me because I'm one step ahead of them, too fast for those piggies to come after me. My worker number is 213-2522.
Okay, so that's one. I just want you guys to catch the vibe before I read this. Okay, so that was on May 14th. Here's May 16th.
Breaking news out of Edmonton, Alberta. Me, Mackenzie, is taunting the RCMP by making TikTok videos. Apparently, with these videos I'm making, is gonna get me caught. But you guys have had my back in the comments telling me to continue running and giving me support. The cops are just pissed because I'm one step ahead of them.
Okay. Final one. So both of those are on the 14th, and here's on the 16th.
They say I'm on the run. I've seen the headlines. I've heard what they've been calling me. A fugitive, a fraud, a joke. But I didn't break out of jail. I walked out legally. The court signed my release. No fake paperwork, no tricks. And then right around the same time, we got news. My boyfriend, the person I built my life with, was diagnosed with tumor stage 3. The doctors gave him about a year to live. So yeah, when I got released, it felt like it was more than paperwork. It felt like a gift from God. Like the timing was too perfect to be random. I could have still been locked up. Instead, I was set free, right when he needed me the most. Some people call it a fraudulent release. I call it a miracle. I'm not going to waste the miracle sitting in a cell while the person I love is running out of time. We have maybe a year left together. Not a year of freedom, not a year of peace. Just a year to hold on tight and make every day count. And yes, I make TikTok videos. And I posted that song. Not to mock the police, but because we've been through hell. And sometimes laughter is the only armor we have left. I'm not a danger to the public. I'm not a threat. I'm just a girl who bought a van legally and got punished for trusting the wrong people. I've got the receipts, I've got the proof, and that is coming. With this video, this one's for anyone who's had to choose between obeying the system and standing by someone you love. I'm not hiding. I'm not afraid. I'm not sorry. I'm choosing love. And if that makes me a criminal in their eyes, then maybe their eyes are broken. Because I'm not running away from justice. I'm running towards life before it slips away. And I'll do it again.
Okay, so I don't know anything about this individual. I don't know much about her story. That just came on my For You page, and I just thought it was interesting, because it's interesting when I see Canadian stuff on the wild. And as I was diving in, I was kind of going back and forth of what I, like, you know, obviously in our minds we think about certain things. And at first that wasn't the first story that I seen was obviously a Canadian news story where it was talking, and actually let's read that. This is what I read first. And then I went to find the TikToks. So first I seen was police arrest Alberta woman wrongfully released from jail on fake papers. And it was just alluding that, and the conspiracies were going around, or the thoughts were going around, that herself or her spouse were a part of forging a letter to get her out of jail early. She's saying that it's a mess up from the courts because she was just 2 weeks, is what I heard. She was just 2 weeks away from being released. So why would she jeopardize that when she's almost out? That this is just a mess up. She didn't leave. There's no tricks or anything like that. This is just a gift from God for her to spend more time. Now, she did post on her TikTok a letter. I'll just post up here. And like I said, I don't know. You guys decide on your opinion on what you feel, if this is real or not. I understand blocking names out, and his name has been released, and his last name is Wood. So when looking at this looks like it could very well say Mr. Wood under there. But I will note that the date of this letter is January 2024, and as I'm recording this, tomorrow is going to be June 1st, 2025, so I'm not saying that's not real, and that maybe he didn't get diagnosed with something deeper. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know their story. It's just interesting to me. I maybe wouldn't have covered up one name, so you can see that it was in fact him. Not saying that anybody's lying. I'm just saying when you do stuff online, you're going to get scrutinized a little bit, and I think that's what I'm reading in some of the comment section. So that's I'm not saying that they don't, and I wouldn't know what I would do either, right? We just do silly things for love. It's just unfortunate, because I think if you're just 2 weeks out, I understand that might be shitty, but once you find out, wouldn't you immediately want to go back and just kind of get it over with so you can spend time? I understand that. I'm sure it's not easy, but I think for me, I just want to do my time and then go out and be with my man for the rest of the year. But now you've probably added more time to your sentence, as well as implicating the man you just said that you were trying to see and save, because I could understand maybe if you were given 24 hours, 48 hours, and I understand a year's not a long time, but 2 weeks when he could have been done, now you're just adding more time, and then now he's in a compromised position whether he liked to be or not. Again, because when you found out you could have went back right away, I understand that you're thinking you're getting time, but going back is just delaying the inevitable. So anyways, let's read. So again, it's at the beginning here. She was inadvertently released due to fraud on April 25th, according to police. The Alberta Prosecution Service confirmed last week that Hardy was released from custody after staff at the Fort Saskatchewan Correctional Centre northeast of Edmonton were shown documents saying her charges were stayed. They later learned that these papers were fake. A woman identified herself as Hardy posted videos on social media and TikTok where she taunted law enforcement and denies that these papers were fake. So the government's fucked and I'm escaped inmate right now, says in one video that we just seen. They're not going to catch me because I'm one step ahead of them. Too fast for those piggies to come after me. In another video, she said that her boyfriend was given a year to live after being diagnosed with cancer and that her release was a gift from God. So for me, and I mean this in the kindest way, it's just like to believe that it was a gift and it wasn't. Who would fake those kind of papers? Like, maybe the government just messed up, but they're fake. So why would the government want to do that? I feel like that's weird. The fact that you're posting on TikTok and making these videos and making all these things, and I understand you say that laughter is the best medicine, but you're taunting the cops, which is not going to do well for you when you go back. So if you're saying that you're doing all this to spend time with your spouse, but then you're putting yourself in more jeopardy by doing this, I don't know, girl, just kind of, I don't know, maybe just because you're young, that maybe that makes sense to you, but it definitely doesn't make sense to me personally. But let's see how that's working out. An Alberta woman is on the lam for more than a month after being wrongfully released from an Edmonton area jail, has been arrested by BC RCMP. Alberta RCMP said in a news release that 24-year-old Mackenzie Dawn Hardy, as well as alleged accomplice 27-year-old David Joseph Wood, has been arrested in Revelstoke, BC on Thursday. Hardy has been charged with several offenses, including possession of stolen property, impaired driving, flight from police, and driving without insurance or registration, and was arrested in March by Red Deer RCMP. So, like, the video before, she's saying she's super innocent, she didn't do anything, kind of sounds like you did, and then you piled on top of it, girly pop. I'm sorry you're going through a hard time with your spouse, and I am truly sorry, but the Alberta Crown Prosecution Service said earlier this month that Hardy was released after staff at Fort Saskatchewan Correctional Centre, about 40 kilometers northeast of Edmonton, were shown documents saying her charges were stayed, but those papers were false. According to the news release, Red Deer RCMP determined that Wood conspired with Hardy and assisted that with the fraudulent release. An arrest warrant was issued for Wood last week. The pair were arrested after patrol officer with Revelstoke RCMP observed two individuals recognized as Hardy and Wood walking away from a stolen vehicle, police said. In addition to Hardy's outstanding warrants, she additionally has been charged with escaping lawful custody, police said. Wood has been charged with assisting the escape of a prisoner, identity fraud, and uttering a forged document. A woman who identifies herself as Hardy posted videos on social media platform TikTok where she taunts law enforcement and denied those papers were fake. As she's on the lam, she was quite active on social media platforms, being very vocal about how she went out and running from the law, as said an RCMP spokesperson. It is really not advised when you're out running from the law to essentially taunt the police, he said. Both Hardy and Wood have been taken before a justice of the peace and remain in custody, police said. They will be taken back to Alberta where they will be brought before the courts regarding future court dates. So this is what I'm saying. I mean, I get it, girl, you're 14 years younger than me. 24 is young. I get it, you're in love. But I think the way you handled that was really poor. And I think if you did, in fact, if this was not conspired and you did not do this, then you would have been going back there and apologizing. The minute that you found out, you would have completed your sentence, I'm sure, and you would have been and not implicated your man. Now you've implicated your man. Now you both are in trouble, and who knows how long you're going to be in there. And if you, and I'm not saying that you did, but if it found out that the story is inaccurate with the GoFundMe that you have out, you could be charged with even more. And considering that you're in jail and you're in trouble for buying stolen property and fleeing the cops and all those things, I would just be very cautious before giving your money to anybody. That's just what I'm saying. In this economy, just be very safe. I'm not saying she's lying. I'm just saying that there are a lot of people that are scamming out there, and I just wouldn't want people to see their hard-earned money going to, maybe they're not the right individuals. So what do you guys think? Do you think that she's innocent and that these were fake papers, or do you think that this was conspiring to get out, maybe try and go viral on TikTok? I don't know. But it just seems strange when you're hiding from the police, acting like they won't be able to find you. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'm very curious to come back to this, but I wanted to leave it with a little bit of a lighter one, and hopefully we can follow up on this one and see where things have gone in a little bit. And like I said, if you're in the Kelowna area or in the Okanagan area, make sure you're voicing your opinions to your MLAs to let them know how you feel about this going on in the KGH hospital. And if you were in the Kitchener, I guess anywhere around Toronto, maybe just go double check and Google search anybody that you're speed dating of what they did. And how do you guys feel about him just getting off on mental illness? This is quite a few stories now I've come to you guys with. They're being let go because they have a mental illness. I don't know that that's the right take. Maybe prison isn't the right take, but just out on the streets hoping they won't reoffend because they have a mental illness and they could take medication. I don't know, y'all. You let me know, Canadians, what you think in the comment section. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget, every Monday, we will be keeping up with Canada. Every Wednesday, we do some internet insanity on this show. And then on Fridays at the Be Real Babe podcast, we have guests and talk about amazing, real, raw topics. And you can find me on social media, on Instagram and TikTok at the Be Real Babe or the Be Real Babe podcast. Thanks, guys, so much again, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Until next time, bye.